remember that you have your recordings on Canvas if you need to go back for whatever reason to a specific lesson or if you've been absent. Today we're going to learn how to work with glittered acrylic. We're going to do an overlay. We're going to learn how to protect our mannequin fingers and how to protect our natural fingers. If in case it is that you're wanting to practice, but you're not that great yet, and your mom doesn't want to, or your model doesn't want to leave the acrylic on, but they want to let you practice. So I'll teach you a way to do that. Okay? Alright, so we are going to start with our acrylics. I'm going to chit chat a little bit while you're finishing up your table setup. Today we have the monomer, we have our clear and our glitter. Okay, you are going to be using your small brush and your big brush. My small brush has a little bit of acrylic on it, so I'm going to use the clear brush, but use your wooden brushes. Okay. Alright, so my glitter is blue, your glitter is pink. We'll start by talking about glitter. You've already poured your clear out. I would do clear first because I don't mind getting clear in my glitter, but I mind getting glitter in my clear. With the glitter, it's always important to make sure that with your glitter, now I didn't tell you this ahead of time, so I want you to see the difference, but anytime you're working with glitter, glitter gets everywhere, right? If you are a Hobby Lobby worker at Christmas time and there's, all the glitter stuff, you get home and you shine where the sun doesn't shine, right? Because there's glitter everywhere. You take your clothes off and there's piles of glitter on the floor. And the same thing with glitter here. So there's just going to be glitter everywhere. There's going to be glitter in your brushes. There's going to be glitter in your monomer. Glitter in just everywhere. So be mindful. When you open your container of glitter, glitter is made up of clear powder, clear polymer, and bits and pieces of glitter, which are plastic sheets. Now, you can have glitter. Remember, glitter is, we talked about this freshman year when we talked about mica. Glitter is like a plastic sheets, very, very thin. They cookie cut the different shapes of glitter, whether it's a star, a heart, a teddy bear, a rectangle, circle, hexagon, octagon, all the things, whatever, okay? Super, super tiny, but it's a piece of plastic. Kimberly and I are friends. We're trying to hold hands, like our molecules are trying to hold hands, but there's a barrier in between. That's the barrier is a piece of plastic. If the piece of plastic is between she and I, we can't hold hands. So we got to hold hands around. We got to find friends around us. So if there's more plastic than there is clear acrylic polymer, it's not good. You are going to make your own glitter. Not today, but you're going to make your own so you know how to do it. But this got to be the right ratio. Because of all that, when you open it, the powder and the glitter, the weight of it is different, so then they separate like orange juice, right? So all the pulp comes to the bottom. You got to shake it so the water and the pulp mix. So you take your tool and you start in the middle and you circle rotate towards the outside. And you go from the outside and you circle rotate towards the inside, so that you don't stir and flip and whip and the plume of powder comes up to your face. Okay, you just circle rotate. What that does is that it mixes the glitter particles with the clear particles, and you have an even spacing between all your product. Okay? If you did not do that, fabulous. I wanted you to not do that. If you did it, it's okay. But have you ever bought a nail polish at the dollar store? And it's this beautiful purple, pink, glittered it's gorgeous in the bottle. It's regular nail polish, and you go home, you try it on. You paint your nail, and you like 2 specks of glitter on your nail, and you're like trying to scrape the brush on there, like trying to get glitter. It's kind of like that. So that's why you have to mix the glitter in the container before you use it. If you didn't use it, that's perfect. Don't try to fix it. I want you to see what it looks like when you don't mix it. If you mix it, that's okay. Okay? All right. Because there's glitter on your napkin now. Close your napkin. There's going to be glitter everywhere. Go ahead, and this time we are going to do our monomer after the glitter. So glitter first, powder first, and then the liquid. Okay, so before, first we tried liquid and then powder to the right. Yesterday we did liquid and then powder on the bottom. Now we're doing powder first, then liquid. There's different placements. Whatever works best for you. Some people like it here because you put your pinky down, you dip your brush in, you dip in, you have the stability in your pinky, and then you wipe, or tap, tap, tap. Okay? Now that you've done all of it, now after this, you get to pick where you want to put it. But right-handed, right-handed, left-handed, left-handed. Okay, left side. All right, let's prep our finger. You take a roll of eyelash tape. If you run out of your roll, let me know. Find the end of the eyelash tape. Take you a piece, cut off a small piece, and fold one tab over, one section over to make a little tab. Let's say we're going to use our shrimp fingers to practice, but I'm not that great yet, and I feel like I'm going to get the acrylic on the skin, and I don't want to ruin my fingers because I want to use it again, like one after the other, bless you. So I'm going to protect the skin around it. I'm going to take my tape, and I'm going to place the tape over the cuticle area, not the hole, just the skin. And because I have a tab on one side, it's going to be easy for me to peel it off, so I can just push the tape down. Okay, then I'm going to take another piece of tape. Let me take this off really quick so you can see better. I'm going to take another piece of tape, and I'm going to fold another flap. I'm making them large, but you don't have to make it that long. And then I'm going to put the piece of tape on the side wall. And then I'm going to put another piece of tape, fold it to make a tab. And then I'm going to place it on the other side wall. Like so. Right? Essentially, I'm covering the skin of my mannequin finger. Because if I get acrylic on the plastic, good luck getting it off. You have to soak the finger. You have to file it off. It's a lot. Which is okay, but it's a lot. Because it has a tab, I'm going to be able to peel it off. So just push down the tape. Okay, you're going to take a teeny tiny bit of sticky tack. Does anyone need sticky tack? Anybody? Okay, if you need sticky tack, let me know. Teeny tiny bit because it's a tiny nail. Roll it into a roly-poly little ball, and then roll it into a little baguette, a little rectangular shape, and put it over the surface of the nail bed. You're going to take the nail tip I gave you, super long, super skinny, pinky nail, maybe not even, yeah, pinky nail. You're going to insert the nail into the hole all the way and then push down. Try to make it as straight as possible. Push down, push down, push down. You're going to take one last piece of tape. Do you need sticky tack, Minka? You dropped it? I'll give you some. Take another piece of tape and look from the bottom like this. Make a U shape and cover the bottom. It doesn't have to be pretty. You have a tab so you're going to be able to peel it off, but just cover the bottom. Okay, so your goal is with the tape, all you need to do is cover the skin so that the acrylic does not get stuck to the finger. Looks like a mummy. The only thing really is exposed is the nail bed that is holding the sticky tack. Okay? Okay, so here we go. Yesterday, we did the Tammy Taylor practice with the French tip. First, we did the number 1 bead, which is white. We worked up the nail. We did 2, then we did 3. At the end, we did 4 and brought it all the way down. So you're one of 2 kinds of nail techs, and or depending on the technique or the colors the client wants or design, you'll work that way. So you either work from the tip to the cuticle or cuticle to the tip. Nowadays, it's most common to go from the cuticle to the tip. If it's one solid color, okay? So today we're going to go from the cuticle to the tip. We're going to use one color, which is going to be our glitter, okay? And in a minimum of 4 beads, which is why you're using your small, non-pinched brush, okay? Mine is not available because it's got acrylic. I'm using my clear one. If yours is not available, use whatever brush you got. It's totally cool. Just you're going to use small beads because look how thin the nail is. This would be someone's pinky. Okay? So, minimum of 4 beads. You can do more. You're going to start at the cuticle area and you're going to come bead 1, bead 2, bead 3, bead 4, all the way down to the tip. You're going to hold the finger pointing downward so that gravity will pull that acrylic down towards the tip. Make sure do not get acrylic on the skin. The acrylic should not be touching the cuticle area. Big no-no. So you hold your brush at a 45-degree angle. This is the plane of the nail. This is my brush. It's making a 45-degree angle. Tap, tap, tap. Remember, we do not brush, we tap. We corral, we pat. And you remember how yesterday we stayed within the black lines and we tap, tap to, okay, your 2 sides, those are your black lines. Tap, tap, tap on both sides. There's a railroad track and it's parallel. If not, it's like a muffin top on both sides. And then you have chiclet nails, and nobody likes chiclet nails. Okay? So tap, tap on both sides to keep it in. Okay, you ready? Okay. Take your small brush, and you're going to season your brush by dipping it into the monomer, rolling it around on the inside. Wipe, wipe, wipe on your paper towel. Tap, tap, tap your glitter. Small bead. Dip your brush into the monomer. Wipe, wipe. Flip the brush over. Dip and drag or dip and tap, whichever method you choose. Hover over your napkin. Tap your brush if you need to. Watch it. Watch it. And then drop it off at the cuticle area away from the skin. Away from the skin, and wipe, wipe, wipe your brush. Hold the finger pointing downward. You're no longer on the table, so you're up hovering in the air. You're going to take the brush at a 45-degree angle and you're going to push, tap, shove that acrylic towards the cuticle, but not touching. Do not touch. Leave a nice good gap towards the cuticle. Your main goal here is to not touch the skin and to make a smile shape. Or I guess this would be a frowny shape, a frowny face. Leave a gap between the skin and the acrylic so you should see the surface of the plastic of the nail. That's fine when you're practicing. I'd rather that than you flood the cuticle and there's like acrylic chunks on the cuticle area, then you have to drill off at a later time, which you can cut your client and blood and bad. Okay? Keep tapping down, pushing that acrylic towards the tip. Always remembering to tap, tap, tap the sides. If not, you're going to get a chiclet nail. Look at the nail from the side. It should be like a ramp, flat at the cuticle area, beginning to bump up. Pick up your next bead. When you're ready, you're going to tap, tap, tap your damping dish. Wipe your brush accordingly, flip it over, pick up accordingly, whatever technique you like. Pick up another bead. If you need to do 10 beads, that is okay. That's all right. You're going to drop the second bead off right underneath the last bead. Wipe, 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 wipe. Hold the finger downward so gravity will pull it towards the tip. Take the belly of the brush and tap, tap, tap. Do you remember yesterday we did the white French tip first, and those two corners you had to shove the product upwards? You have to shove the product upwards to blend with the previous bead. If not, you will have a gap. Shove it up on the sides and then tap, tap, tap down. Tap, tap on the sides, making sure you're making a parallel. Well, it's not really parallel because it goes to a point, but as straight as possible on the sides. You don't want bumpy sides. Turn the nail over and look at it to see if you have any gaps, any divots, or any bumps. Now, I am going to do it wrong. I am going to leave holes on the sides of the nail, because on Monday I'm going to show you what went wrong, why, how to fix it, can it be fixed, and what you need to work on. But you cover the entire nail. Try not to leave any acrylic underneath the nail, because if you leave acrylic under the nail, good luck getting it off. Next bead, drop it off underneath the previous bead. Wipe, wipe, wipe your brush. Hold the finger downward so that way it will drip towards the bottom. You're going to tap, tap, tap the bead on the top, and then tap, tap, and push the bead up to get those 2 points to blend upwards and blend in with the previous bead. Just like yesterday's French tip number 1. Then tap, tap to smear it downwards. Take your time. There is no rush. I'd rather you do it in 10 beads and do it right than do it in 2 beads and do it wrong. Tap, tap, tap the sides, making sure it is forming a line on the right and on the left. Tapping the bottom of your bead where you run out, so that way the next bead will blend and there's not a big old bump, so you make another little ramp. Turn the nail to the side to make sure and rotate it. Make sure you don't have a bunch of dips and divots and ups and downs. Continue picking up your beads accordingly until you fully cover the entire surface of your nail, holding the nail pointed downwards. You're hovering the nail up off of the surface of the table. You are not kissing the client's hand, so back up a little bit. You are not sitting on one cheek and not the other. You're not hunched over. You're paying attention to your body position so that you don't hurt yourself or get tired. Okay? Look at the side of the nail. Look at like it's going to poke you in the eyeball. Look at it from the side and rotate it. Alright, I'm going to put my napkin so maybe you can see a little bit better. When you hold your nail and you look at it from the side, right, a client's hand will move so you can move it around. Hold it from the side and look at it from the side and rotate it side to side like so. And you should be able to see if on the side or the top you have bumps like waves one bead was higher, then I have a dip, and then a bead was higher, and then I have a dip. You should not have dips. So here is a dip right here. You can barely see, but it's a dip here between bead 1 and 2. Why? Because maybe bead 1 was bigger than bead 2. Maybe I mushed down bead 2 more than I mushed down bead 1. Right? The consistency in your tapping needs to be consistent. If not, you're going to have the up, down, up, down, up, down. Right? And you want it to be smooth. Take a look at the nail like it's going to poke you in the eyeball. When you look at it, on the sides, I know the nail goes from thick to thin to the point. So when I say parallel, it's not literally parallel, right? But straight lines on the side. Or is it bumpy? Does it have a little jelly roll sticking out on both sides? And if you do, that's called a chiclet nail. You know the chicles, the canales chicles, the little square bubble gum? That's not good. Those are chiclet nails. Those are not good. Look at it from the bottom. Is there acrylic that you have under the nail? That's bad, because how do you take that off? You need to use a drill. When you use a drill, higher probability you're going to cut your client, higher probability of blood on your station, not good. So anytime you get acrylic on the bottom, immediately scoop it off. Immediately. Because it's harder to get it off once it's hard. Okay, we're going to let that down for a quick second. We're going to let that get hard. Again, I have some errors on it, but we're going to talk about that on Monday when we go and file this and examine it and see what happened, why did something go wrong, what you can do to not make that happen, or how do you fix it. Okay, so don't throw this nail away, because Monday we're going to come back to it and we're going to file it and all that good stuff. Okay, tap, tap, tap your glitter. You're going to take your tape. If you have a bald finger, fabulous. If you got nails on, it's okay, just watch. But if you have a bald finger, pick a finger, doesn't matter which one. And we're going to put an overlay on our finger. Wait, miss, I'm not that great. I don't want acrylic on my finger because it's going to get stuck on there for a few days. I know. So this is how you practice on somebody or yourself or toes or whatever. You're going to take a little piece of tape. You're going to make a little flap or a tab, and you're going to place it over the finger like so. Lash tape, not the color pink, green, purple, they have different color ones. The just regular white tape is the best because it's somewhat transparent and you can kind of see through. Then you're going to take a second piece, fold it over to make a little tab, and you're going to place a second piece like so. The goal is to cover the entire nail and the skin. You're going to take the back of your brush gently, and you're going to press down on the walls. Bless you. You're going to press down on the cuticle like so. Then you can go ahead and press down the tape. Okay. Painter's tape, Scotch tape, washi tape. I mean, you can use any kind of tape, but the adhesive on this tape is skin safe, formulated that it's okay to go on skin. So it's best to use that tape that is appropriate. Yes, I can use painter's tape and put that over, but I really can't see through that. You can draw the lines and you can still use that, that's fine. But one time you're not gonna die, right? But if a constant, your skin can get irritated with this tape. So, but it works. Use what you got so you can get what you need, right? Alright, so tap, tap, tap your glitter. Dip in your brush into your monomer. You're going to pick up one big bead and you're going to do an overlay of glitter on your finger, whichever finger you chose. Pick up the bead according to the size of the finger that you chose. When you look at the bead, and I'll tell you not to ever flip your brush over, but you look at the bead, if it looks powdery, there's not enough liquid, okay? So you're going to tap down, although it does look very textured because of the glitter. Wipe, 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 wipe your brush, right? You're starting on the top. You're going to take your brush at a 45-degree angle. You're pushing or holding the finger pointing downward. You're going to tap, tap, tap to expand sideways so that you have a nice ramp at the cuticle area. Once you have a ramp, you're going to tap in the sides and then start to tap, tap, tap to drag down. Keep that nail nice and smooth over the top surface. Tap, tap, tap. Shape it. I'm just going to leave it into a little squirrel here, a little round little bit. And voila. That is called an overlay. You are laying acrylic over the natural nail. I'm not adding, nor can I add length. You need a form for that. Because if I take acrylic and I want my nail this long, there's no support for that. Can you make it happen? Yeah, if you're like 3D'ing it, but you need the form. Is what we did on this nail tip on our shrimp finger, is this an overlay? Technically, yeah, because we just put acrylic over the nail, assuming that the nail tip was the client's natural nail. We didn't add a tip or an extension or use a form. So yeah, it is an overlay. Okay? Once you do it and you're like, dang, I messed up. Okay, that's okay. Just peel the tape off and put your another piece of tape and start again. So you take your tape, peel it off, and you're good. Now the thing about this particular tape is that sometimes it just has a little bit of residue, but not a lot. Take a little bit of acetone, wipe it, and you're good to go. Acrylic is not stuck on the client. If you messed up, you gave them chiclet nails, it's okay. They can pop them off, peel them off. You're good to go. That's a great way to practice so you ruin anything. Go ahead and tap, tap, tap the nail tip from the cuticle to the tip. This is the sound you should hear. It's a click sound. That means it's ready. If it sounds like this, rubbery, means it's not ready yet. Okay? We are now going to put a protective layer over the top of this glitter. Why? One, feel it, it's rough. Nobody's gonna like that. That's not smooth at all. Two, there's particles of glitter that are exposed, so as the water gets introduced, as she rubs up against things, the particles of glitter are gonna get scratched, the shine goes away, it turns gray. It's ugly. So you need a protective layer. So we're gonna take our big brush, if it's available to you, season it because we had not previously seasoned it. Wipe, wipe, wipe your brush on your napkin. We're gonna we're gonna transition from clear, move that to our glitter to clear, move the clear in, push the glitter out, still on the left side of your monomer. You're going to pick up a big bead because this big bead is going to go from the cuticle all the way to the tip. So swipe and dip accordingly. Insert into the monomer, wipe the belly, flip the belly, dip and drag all the way across, or dip and tap to get you a huge bead. You're going to wait a second, let the bead do what the bead is going to do. You're going to drop the bead off at the cuticle area, not touching the skin. Drop it off, wipe, wipe, wipe your brush on your napkin. Hold the finger pointing downward. Push the bead towards the cuticle. Tap the sides if it's getting out of control. You're going to push and tap and shove that clear to cover the glitter. Now, if your glitter was all the way to the cuticle, you are now having to really be careful because you have to go past that glitter. And now you're on the skin. So point the finger downward, let gravity help you drag that bead down, tap from the top, holding your brush at a 45-degree angle. Towards the cuticle, your glitter should be very evident because the clear is not thick, but towards the bottom, as it's dripping, it's kind of opaque, kind of almost white because it's a chunky part. Keep tapping it down to smooth it out. Tap the sides. And you cannot take too long, because if you take too long, then it's going to harden. Super important to make sure to get down as far down as you possibly can, as fast as you possibly can, making sure that you are tapping as you go down. Making sure that acrylic stays on the top of the nail, not on the bottom of the nail. We are not swiping. We are tapping. You first must learn to know what the rules are before you can bend or break the rules. We're not brushing, we're tapping. If you made it all the way to the bottom, congratulations, that's amazing. If you did not, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Pick up another bead. Just determine how much liquid and how much powder you need. Once you pick up your bead, then drop it off. Do your best to blend it. There's nothing wrong with doing this in several beads. Just as long as you blend it, you will be just fine. Make sure to maintain the shape of the nail. Keeping the finger downward, remember that the bead is self-leveling until it fully hardens. Tap, tap, tap. Shape it. Make sure it's parallel. Look at it from the tippy tip. Is it too bulky? Flatten it out. Do you have acrylic on the bottom? Scoop it off. When you're done, you're going to fold over your brush in your napkin and let it harden. And that is all we have for today. We're going to keep this nail to go over the mistakes, how to fix things, why things happen the way they happen. We're going to file it, polish it, all the things on Monday. Last I checked, we did not have anyone signed up for reboot.